co-founders of Dipper.
Dipper is a technology platform that guides professionals of color to a better workplace, one review at a time.
Dipper is your safe space. It is the time for you to share your voice with a community that you are a part of. Visit us and join today at ourdipper.com.
Welcome, everyone. Hi, Jacinta.
Hi, Netta.
How are you feeling? I miss you.
You know, girl. It's like it feels like forever, but I'm glad. It's like we text and talk so much on the phone, but it's like always also good to see your beautiful face. I'm good. It's Tuesday. We're switching it up and getting on live here earlier in the week. How are you?
I'm doing good. I lost my voice last week, so it's still kind of raspy, but it's coming back. I've never been so afraid of not having a voice. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't speak. I can't, I was presenting last week and I could barely, say anything. So I'm just happy to have a voice today.
I know. We're happy you do too.
Thank you. Well, today everyone is tuning in, or we hope that you're tuning in right now.
Absolutely.
To Shut Up and Listen. And that's presented by ourdipper.com. So please head to ourdipper.com and make sure that you sign up. Okay, so that you can stay updated on everything that we're doing. And also you will be able to rate your current and past companies and review, some of the other organizations as well if you're a job seeker. So today we are talking about, the topic is code switching before your Zoom call. Now, this is a fun little topic here, but it can turn serious too, right? It's funny because when I think about this topic, I think about how I wake up in the morning and I put on my nice, comfortable pajama pants or shorts, and I pair it with a nice blazer, right? And so it looks so nice, but you just don't know what's going on the bottom. So my husband says it's business on the top and party on the bottom all day long. And we want to hear from you, everyone that's tuned in right now. How are you dressed right now? What's your sense of style at home before you hop onto that Zoom call? What about you, Jacinta?
Yeah, and this topic got me thinking because I was like, how do I define code switching?
Yeah.
And then am I doing it today? Am I socialized to do it, especially from being a young Black girl to now a woman at work, and what does that all mean? And I remember I think it was a book. It was called Why Do All the Black Kids Sit Together in the Cafeteria? Right. And there's a concept in that book that is called bidialectalism. And she really is talking about how Black folks often become masters of different dialects so they can survive in different settings. And I was like, oh, that might be kind of real. My family is from the South, and sometimes when I get angry, you hear the Southern aspect of my voice all the time. But a lot of times you don't. And I think where it kind of hit me as far as code switching was, you can't really tell, but it's I have a little nose ring and it's a hoop. Yeah. And I think I took it out once for a job. I was like, oh, I don't want to have a piercing on my face for this particular role. And then I was like, wait, if I'm this is who I am, do I want a job where I feel like I have to adjust who I am to be in that role?
Yeah.
And I'm maybe that is code switching. Maybe that in itself is how are we either muting ourselves, adjusting ourselves to adhere to this kind of either unspoken, or sometimes there's spoken rules, that just exist.
Absolutely. I remember working in an organization, and there was another woman that I was working with, And I overheard some of the leaders saying, well, she's wearing these tight jeans. She shouldn't be wearing that. And I'm like, so you're upset that she's wearing jeans that fit her body, right?
Yeah.
Should she, like, how should she be wearing her jeans, or how should her body? So it's very, very interesting. And I think when people start to kind of realize that there are of these many standards that are put up and requirements, they then become very conscious of how
Mm-hmm.
they show up. And we keep on hearing the term, well, be your authentic selves. Well, really? What does that even mean? And if I really show my authentic self, will I be embraced and
Yeah.
supported? Right. So it's so interesting. I think for me, so I grew up. My mother was into fashion.
Mm-hmm.
A couple boutiques, and as a little girl, she would put me in pageants, and she was all about, you have to make sure that you look good 24/7. That puts a lot on you, a lot of pressure. And so
Yeah.
I remember actually, um, when I was much younger, I always used to like my hair braided. And this particular day, my mom did not braid my hair. And so got in the car. We were supposed to leave and go off somewhere. And I was crying in the car. I'm like, my hair is not done. I'm not going
Yeah.
anywhere. My hair is not done, right? And my mom has never, you have Black parents, like, you just don't behave that way, right? So I'm crying up a storm. And my mom stops the car at the end of the street, and she's like, you know what? Then you go back home, walk back home, walk. And I was just right up the street. You walk back home. And I was like, okay. And I actually got out the car and walked back home. Again, I preface, but I had a Black mother, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that, like, you don't walk out the car alive doing that,
Yeah.
right? But I did. And then I want to say about 30 minutes later, my older sister got a phone call. My mom was in such a bad accident. And
Mm.
the pole had actually, so the pole had split the car in half, and I was in the back seat. And had I been in that car and not screaming about my hair, wanting it to be a certain way, I could have not been on this earth today.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how life like pans out. But because of that experience, even as a young child, I'm like, okay, well then that means I always have to be prepared. I always have to like make sure that my hair looks good and
Yeah.
my skin looks good. And again, there's so much pressure on that. And then it's even amplified once you get into the workplace,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's even amplified now in Zoom meetings. You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and especially as a Black woman, I'm like, okay, well, you're always thinking about, okay, well, how am I showing up? How am I
Mm-hmm.
presenting? How do I make sure that I'm being taken serious here? Right. So I'll throw on a little blazer, but best believe I will have on pajama pants while I'm sitting down. So that's what I love.
Party Lovato. Yeah.
Right,
And
right. That's what
part of that is almost like, like we're each other's cheerleader for sure, right? But sometimes you have to be your own. And so some
yeah,
of it may be like what you do to hype up yourself. Like,
yeah,
I know when we were doing we got invited to like be on a panel at NASDAQ, and I was like, oh my gosh, like little intimidating. Like, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? I have like this blazer, and it's like my cape. It's like, no matter if I put it on, it's like I can do anything,
right. It's like me with red lipstick
Yeah.
on.
So it's like finding your thing that like makes you like encourages you to be more authentic, I think is really a good, like if someone said what's a pro tip on like how to show up, I would say like find that sometimes it is an actual physical item, but find your thing. Or even if it's like something you could need to say to yourself um before you log into a meeting or before you come on, like
Yeah,
what is that? And so I also wonder, there is like someone mentioned this about having your camera on. Like
yeah,
there's definitely a stigma about like folks who do not turn their camera on.
yeah,
100%. Like
absolutely.
there definitely is. And so it's, I guess I was trying to think of what is the equivalent of that in the physical workplace? And I couldn't think of it. I was like, it's almost like maybe the equivalent of not turning your camera on is like when you decide to work from home. Like, remember when some folks are going to the office every day. So I want to be fair. Some people are showing up in the office. I go like 3 times a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so is the equivalent of like turning your camera off in an environment where you are 100% home. Is that like the day where you're like, I'm working from home? Like, I just need to be, do you have you had that, Netta, where you're just like, I love it, burning sage before your meeting? Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Or, you know, when the rolling of the eyes, you're just like,
Yeah.
I don't have time to show up
Yeah.
smiling in this moment. Let me turn this off and give myself a bit of a break.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. You know, folks are really just trying to like give themselves a break. And it's similar to like what you were saying, like someone taking a lunch break in person, right?
Yeah.
Or someone saying, you know, I need a day off. Now, how do you feel when it happens consistently? When they're because you're a leader, you manage people, and if you have, you know, maybe 1 or 2 particular people that always have their cameras off, what message does that send, and how does it make you feel?
That's interesting. As a leader, I definitely feel like I need to have my camera on all the time.
Yeah.
Like, um, I manage an incredible team, and I feel that, you know, one of my roles as a manager is to support them and also like motivate them. And now, like, guys, this is a weird time. Like, this is like a very weird time, right? So I do feel like I need to have my camera on. I will admit, I have definitely said I have connectivity issues before.
I have to. I'm not
Like,
gonna lie.
I'm just keeping it real 100. Like, I have definitely said that. And I
Yeah.
felt bad. I did it once and I was like, I can't do this again, because I
Right.
also felt as a leader, I'm not being authentic. Like, so there have been times I said, hey, I can't turn my camera on. I'm getting my hair braided. Like right now in this meeting, like someone is braiding my hair, you know? And I was like, I can't turn my camera on. And
Right.
I think it's, it is also, as a manager, the more you authentically communicate, it then gives your team space to do the same. Like, I think they then feel like, oh, she's tearing down the wall. Like,
Mhm.
I am getting the real Jacinta. Now, does that mean I don't have boundaries? Of course I do. Like, of course I have boundaries, you know, like, however, I think I am also deciding very consciously, like, how am I going to let folks in? And I
Right.
think it is important as a manager, like, you give thought to like how you let folks in. If there is someone that is consistently like has their camera off, doesn't feel comfortable with it, I think you need to dive into that more. Like, there's more there. It's not just the camera.
Absolutely.
I think in a past role, one thing I learned is, and I had to speak to the executive leadership team about, was some of us have the privilege of having a home office.
Hmm.
And some of us have the privilege of having like a workspace. I had a call with, at the time, someone who was on a customer support team, and she was like, I rent a room that I share with another person,
Right.
and I sit on my bed with the laptop and I work. And she was like, that is all I can do. Like, that's all I can afford.
Hmm.
That is exactly like my situation. And I don't necessarily want everyone like sitting on my bed with me, you know?
No.
And I was like,
Right.
fair. And I did not call her situation out specifically. I felt honored that she felt she could be honest with me, but I also felt, as like the single Black executive at the time, it was my job on the executive team to articulate, like, some folks don't feel comfortable turning their camera on. So for you to like, in some phases, microaggress folks for not having it on is not fair. It's not equitable. It's not the type of company that we're trying to build. So just like finding ways to be authentic. Sorry, that was a very long answer, Netta.
No. I think that you were spot on with that, and I'm definitely right there with you. I think also it's about, because you said that person actually felt comfortable sharing that with you, but it also shows the type of leader that you are. You built that relationship, right, with that individual for them to feel psychologically safe to take the risk to share that information with you, because that's a big deal for someone to say, hey, I'm sharing a room with another individual. I may not be happy with the space that I'm in. Therefore, that's why I have my camera. Not that I don't want to be present. I am, but here's my situation. I think that's a huge step. And it says a lot about you as a leader, but that's what I want to really hone in on. It's important for all leaders to build relationships with the people on your team. Get to know the people on your team. Allow them to feel safe enough to share, hey, here's why I'm going to have my camera off. I know, one of my friends had shared with me, she would cut off her cameras because she was just tired of the meetings that she was a part of, right? She's like, Netta, at my organization, there would be meeting after meeting. It didn't make any sense because there were meetings that didn't need to be meetings. And I didn't feel like showing up. And she said, oftentimes when I would show up in the meeting, they were talking about topics that I couldn't really relate to. I couldn't relate to golfing on the weekend when I was thinking about the shootings that were happening and the murders that took place and thinking about my children. So she had shared that with me. I was like, whoa, that is so deep. Now that her leader has no clue because she does not feel comfortable enough to share, hey, here's my situation. Here's what I'm going through, because she then may be judged.
Yeah.
That's a really hard thing. And I think oftentimes, I know someone brought up microaggression. It's very interesting because microaggressions definitely still happen in the Zoom world.
Yeah.
Oh, right? Sure. Definitely happen. You'll still have people over talking. You'll have folks, when you present and you share something, they then don't even want to turn on their cameras.
Right.
It's always on, right? So there's definitely Zoom microaggressions that exist. And it's so unfortunate when those things do happen, because you then do get the same feeling. And it's almost like a feeling of like PTSD that then comes back to you because you remember yourself being in the workplace and all of those things that had transpired that you just kind of turn that eye to, you don't look into as much.
How do you, so I have been accused of speaking with my face. So hit the comments if you feel, yes.
Eye rolls.
I have definitely been accused of like, I will sometimes say no words, but my face says it all.
Can you give us the face just in time? I just want to see the look.
Okay. Like I listen, I'm an active listener. Like for me, listening is a sport. I'm an athlete when it comes to listening. Okay.
Right.
So too bad you can't burn calories listening. But anyway.
Oh my gosh, someone needs to come up with that. Yeah. I like to laugh, so I think I'd lose a lot of weight doing that.
So I sometimes I want to hear I want to make sure I understand, right? And so I have someone, I love it because one of my peers, she'll be like, I love it because she'll be like, Jacinta, do you have a thought to share? And I'm like, girl, I do. But it's like sometimes the nonverbal. And so I appreciate that about like folks having their camera on, because I think it just allows us to like collaborate a little bit better. By those nonverbal cues are sometimes so powerful.
Yeah.
And it also helps you understand, like sometimes I'll say something and I'm reading the crowd and I'm like, oh, they don't get what I'm saying. Like maybe I need to like phrase this differently. So I think there is some value in that, right? But maybe we don't. I love it. You said you have a poker face. This is how I practice my poker face, because someone told me when they do Zoom, they turn off the box where they can see themselves.
Okay.
I can't do that.
I have to see
myself because that helps me craft my poker face.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I have to like keep it together, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
No, and it's funny, right? That Zoom does that.
yeah.
You can see yourself the entire time.
Yeah.
It is so funny. Yeah, it's. I have definitely watched myself. And I'm like, okay, Netta, you're a little too serious right now. You're pissed. You know you're pissed off, but now you're
Right.
showing that you're pissed off. Like,
Right. Yeah.
mask it, mask the pissed offness.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do, but at least we get to see each other doing it.
But my therapist said sometimes people need to know you're mad. So,
Yeah, I do.
I
I
think
do like that. Yeah,
I got real good at like masking
yeah,
being pissed off. And
yeah,
like I found, girl, that it sometimes it hurts the business for them not to know that like
yeah.
something, so you feel something is not right. It's yes, it's our job to like effectively communicate the wrong,
Right.
but and sometimes that's where like I've just learned I have to like give myself some time to process things
Yeah,
sometimes, so I'm not like flippant, but I actually want to like help develop a solution.
yeah,
But that took work. Yes, it took
yeah.
work.
Justin said he's
I've
not there yet.
I've had a therapist and an executive coach. Okay.
Listen,
So like
you're doing
it
so
did
well.
not happen by accident. It took a lot of work.
You're doing well. I think for me, it's funny because I do agree with you that there are those moments where, yeah, it's time to show face, and
Yeah.
I'm not happy right now.
Yeah.
But then there are those moments where I'm like, okay, Netta, bring it back together, right? You're leading a group of people here, and it may
Mhm.
not necessarily even be the meeting that I'm a part of that I'm pissed off with. It may have been like an incident that happened before. I
Yeah.
have to kind of understand, okay, you got to kind of separate the two a little bit. These folks in the meeting did not do anything to you, right?
Mhm.
So I think also it's about us acknowledging that and identifying that. I have been a part of meetings where I've watched leaders um, really kind of drive in with their emotions, and you could tell like they're extremely upset, but it had nothing to do with the people in that space. And what
Mm.
that then does is it really kind of drops that whole dynamic, right? People are not excited, people are fearful of sharing
Yeah.
as well. I think as a leader there is a certain standard that should be upheld, and making sure that your people are empowered, and also as a leader identifying that, hey, I'm not in the right headspace today, I'm not happy about something that maybe transpired within my life, I'm not going to have the meeting today. But what I
Yeah.
find is people typically do then go on with their meetings because they're like, hey, I'm in my house, I'm working from home, or they have this hybrid thing going on,
Yeah.
and they can just show up and they'll be fine. And it's like, wait, hold on. You know that you may be negatively impacting someone else as well.
Yeah. And
So,
that's some folks are doing like no meeting Mondays, or identifying days of the week where they're just like, this is my time. Scheduling time on your calendar. I love emojis. So like I will sometimes put time on my calendar with the little brain emoji,
yeah,
just so like I'm giving myself the space to like think and
yeah,
to
yeah,
not have a meeting. And like I prefer you not book over that brain emoji. Like please
right,
leave it where it is.
right.
And I do think it's good to just kind of, as we try to find the space to be authentic
Yeah,
in a healthy way for each of us, like also creating space for you to just like have time, like
absolutely.
reclaim your time, like
Yeah.
the
Because
lovely
we're humans,
Maxine
right?
Walker said. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we're humans at the end of the day. I think oftentimes
Human. Yeah.
because all of our lives are spent half the time working, we become
Yeah.
robots. And we think, okay, well, let me just kind of like work through this. But no, we need to make that time for ourselves and take a pause
Mm-hmm.
so that we can show up the way that we want to really show up.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see some great comments. But we started off with this conversation about code switching before Zoom call. And the one thing that came to my mind is about how we switch our clothing, right? How we show up. So, Jacinta, in the spirit of that, what are you wearing right now? It's a little intrusive, but what are you wearing? Are you?
Yeah, yes, I am wearing like, so I've tried to up with us moving to mostly like remote calls. There are two things I have made a change to. I have definitely stepped up my blouse/top game.
Ooh.
Stepped up my top game and my
Yeah.
earring game. My earring game has evolved through this time, and so has my top game. So
Okay. I like
but
that.
I definitely have on leggings, and then my favorite shoes in the whole wide world. My
Oh,
Birkenstocks. Okay.
nice. You look fancy today, girl.
So,
Well, it
yeah,
looks like you are business on the top and party on the bottom. Is that
100%.
what you mean? You said leggings, right? Okay.
Yeah. How about
Uh,
you, Nana?
I love the all-purpose uniform. It's awesome.
All-purpose uniform.
Yeah. So you know me. I like my handy dandy blazer. I
You
keep
love
this
a
green
blazer.
blazer at
Yes,
the back
you love
of
a
my chair.
blazer.
I can wear that throughout the week. You may see me in a green blazer every single day. Just know it's
Yes.
um, and I'll put on some shorts, and I have some nice
There
slippers.
you go. Quality house shoes.
Quality, yeah, look at that quality.
Quality
And
house shoes.
I
Yeah.
will never forget, Jacinta, my red lips. I have to
Always.
have
It
my red
helps.
lips. Yeah.
And I read, I think it was Bazoma St. John was saying that the worst advice someone gave her about work was
Yeah.
someone told her like to never wear red lipstick
Oh my God.
at work. And I do think if that's what someone mentioned, like kind of developing this like corporate persona, right? Like
Right.
how can you develop this? And I think maybe because I'm in marketing and I'm always thinking about brand, like
Mhm.
definitely give thought and space to like what you want your brand to be
Right.
and your message to be as well. Like what do you want people to think about when they interact with you
Yeah.
at work? And mine is growth. Like I talk about personal growth, I talk about business growth. Like I am always talking about growth, right? I talk about when growth is stagnant, when it's hard, when it's easy, like all of that. Like I am
You even make growth pizza. We know about your
100%.
growth.
Yeah. Like I am like always
Right.
talking about, like it's like something I'm just always talking about. I'm tremendously passionate about it. Everyone on my team, like it's just ingrained in, right? So I think it's finding that persona like
Yeah.
that. And some people, I know I have a friend loves to run, and she's always saying like it's a marathon and a sprint, and she's always running, and like that is like her thing. And so it's like giving some thought to like, what is it that is like authentically you, that motivates you, makes you feel good, and just kind of can keep you going, but folks will remember it too. I think
Yeah. No, absolutely. I can't go anywhere without my red lipstick. In fact, I remember the first day I tried on red lipstick and I thought, oh my goodness, I will never change this again. It also pops your teeth, like it looks even better.
100%.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone out there, and this is inclusive of everyone,
No
literally.
matter the age, no matter the age.
Go and get
Yeah.
yourself some red lipstick.
Yeah.
Ruby Woo by MAC is really good. All right. Well, this has been such an awesome conversation.
So
We've
good.
had some fun. There's so much that's going on in the world. And so I thought, like, hey, let's take a step back a little bit and have just kind of a light conversation. Not that code switching
I
doesn't
know. I
impact,
feel so energized though.
but
Like I
feel
feel like let's go kill it today. Like
let's
I
get to
just
it.
feel
In
energized.
your house slippers,
Yeah.
right? In your leggings, whatever you have on today, go and kill it. Empower others around you. And remember, for all of you that are tuning in, head to ourdipper.com and sign up. Please sign up. You have a chance to rate and review your current and past companies. You have the ability to also review other organizations to make sure that you're selecting the best workplaces for you, right?
Yeah.
So we are so excited, and we'll be back. We'll be back. Thank you, Jacinta. I see that ourdipper.com.
Yeah. And thank you everyone. Thank you, Netta. And like you know, this has been awesome. We will be back, so please continue to chime in. We really appreciate all of you being a part of our little virtual community. Like, we love it. Yeah.
Look at that. And everyone's showing up.
Show up. All right. Have a good day.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye.